Okay, so let's get this news recording out of the way. Um, I haven't been doing these for the last couple of weeks. A little bit of mix of I forgot and been too busy. As you can tell, last video, 22nd. Open the calendar here. So last couple of weeks, just been absolutely busy because here the 30th through the 3rd, I basically was nonstop moving. I moved into a new house. It's really, really great. Have my own room. Nobody can bother me. So in theory, I'll be able to record more often here. Now that I've got my computer set back up and most of the distractions are out of the way and I'm not trying to force exams. I've had exams like these 2 weeks. I mean, imagine moving and then at the same time you have to then drive up to the university and take an exam. It's like, well, I could have studied for the exam, but my computer's in a box. But yeah, this week should be better. I've got some stuff out of the way. I've been able to get some more progress done. I've got a project I've been working on for a client that actually is going to make it into release here. Let me go pull that up real quick. So this was originally requested in order to patch several issues with Tekkit Legends. There's a lot of infinite loops, a lot of potential bugs in that mod pack. I was asked to fix them. But when reviewing them, I found out some of these issues actually were Minecraft problems. So I'm actually working on fixing those. Now, the two issues that I found was that the chests have a chance to infinite loop on chunk borders. It's a rare bug, and it usually has to be triggered by another mod. But once it's triggered, Minecraft will basically suicide itself. This patch, which I just made here, will fix it partially. It does not fully fix it. What it does is when their chunks are unloading and reloading and stuff, which is usually done with orphan chunk loading, it will prevent that from infinite looping and breaking the game. There is several other spots in the chest that can infinite loop, and I will take care of those as I go. The other crash, there's a chance that when something goes to notify block of neighbor change, it can chunk load, and when it chunk loads, it can infinite chunk load, so it keeps loading chunks into the point either you run out of memory, you run out of stack size, or the thread locks up. Thread lockups were the main reason I started working on these, actually. The client's got 5 of them. 3 of them I could identify the issue with. The other 2 are so bizarre that I have to go look at the mods themselves that are causing the issues. Because these, which by the way, this chest invalidate issue and these ones are being triggered by IC2, Buildcraft, and logistics pipes. It's not really their fault, it's more of bad design practice. A lot of mods have not really thought through how chunk loading works. And I don't really blame them. Nobody really looks into chunk loading. Nobody really looks and reads it and tries to figure out how it functions. They just assume that if a machine is loaded, it's not on the border of a chunk. It's somewhere nearby the player, which is not a bad assumption. And it does end up working that way. And a lot of my machines even do this too. So it's even something I'm guilty of messing up. A lot of people have tried to rectify it, and you'll just find issues with it all over the place. So if you ever have a lot of issues with CPU and RAM usage, usually the #1 cause is orphan chunks caused by neighbor block updates, or somebody calling get block or get tile on a neighbor chunk, which is what this is actually ends up being. Because the main cause of this one is this call right here, which is get block. Now normally this will be world.getBlock, but I have a method down here which will check to see if the chunk is loaded. If the chunk is not loaded, it will return null. If it returns null, then it will not run. Hence there's a null check right there. And it fixes it. It works out really, really well. You can't actually tell normal Minecraft, though, to do this, because if I did this to like every get block call in the entire game, you would get null pointers left and right. So hence the reason why I'm individually patching up spots rather than just doing a catch-all. Although technically this is a catch-all. But what this will do is this will slightly break a logic, but it shouldn't cause crashes, because if it does, mod developers need to have properly coded their stuff. But other than that, I'm working on the tile warhead station. I hope to get this done this week, and what this will let you do is finally properly craft warheads with explosives in them. Instead of just sticking it in your crafting grid and shoving it in there, you can configure how many explosives you want in the warhead. I'm going to work on cone of explosion. I won't do that this week, but it'll be later on. You'll be able to control the shrapnel size, the size of the explosion. So what the main thing is what I want to do with this is even if you stick, say, 50 explosives in there, normally 50 explosives will result like maybe a 200-meter crater. You can say, hey, I don't want a 200-meter crater, I want a 20-meter crater. So you mess with the explosives, and I'm not going to really tell the science behind any of that, because to be honest, I really don't know it, and I doubt I'm going to be able to find it. And if I do, I'll end up on another list of people who shouldn't know things that do. But the idea is you can then reduce the size and it'll increase the power of the explosion. So normally you'll have all the power released at once over the entire thing, and it'll just go outward and break everything. But then this could focus it so that way it doesn't dampen as quickly, or no, it doesn't dampen as quickly, but then stops, or something like that. In other words, it'll result in more block damage in a smaller area, so more power release. But I'll work on that. But the crafting station will also be used for decrafting explosives and pulling explosives out of warheads so you can recycle them. It'll be used for configuring percussion caps and stuff, so you can change out, instead of on impact a missile blowing up, you can do time delayed, radius delayed, trigger delayed, impact, so when somebody touches it, it goes off. There'll be a lot of different trigger types. There'll also be some guidance system adjustments to the warheads, so you'll be able to say, hey, I want you to follow any heat signature, and then trace that. That'll end up with a tracking missile, so people were like, hey, 164 and early 1710 versions had missiles that could track other missiles and people. Well, the reason I haven't added those is I want to add all the crafting to it. I don't want to just throw everything out there and be like, hey, here's everything, but then you really can't craft it properly. So work on that. It's almost done. I just started here about 20 minutes ago, started working on it, so pretty good progress. The crafting chain's basically done. I just have to increase the stack size and do some error checks, add a packet handler, and then add a GUI, which will take the rest of the day. But yeah, in other news, let me think. Not really much going on. I plan to do a live test of ICBM here eventually. I'll shout out on Twitter when that's going to happen. Most likely it'll be a small 30-40 man server. People can get on and just attack each other. I don't care what you guys do. I'm just going to sit there and observe how people play with the mod, so that way I can make adjustments and improvements to the mod. But yeah, that'll happen. I don't know when it'll happen, but it's not going to be right now because I want to get the nukes and red matter bombs implemented. So it probably here in a month or so. Which means it's gonna, yeah, a month or so sounds good because I have to do several more classes. So maybe somewhere near Christmas. So we got October here. So October, November, yeah, somewhere near Christmas. I'll do that because then I should be on Christmas break, which means I should have everything coded up then. I won't have to worry about school because I got tons of exams coming up here. I've got actually 4 papers I need to write this week. So yeah. But that's the news so far. Can't think of anything else because the site's not being really developed because Quantum's not really working on it. Nobody else has really been doing anything, so it's pretty much been, as you can tell, because there's been no releases for the last couple weeks, it's been pretty, everybody's been busy and laid back. So yeah, that's the news. I shall make more videos here, and I should be starting to live stream more. I've got 5 megabytes up now, which is 3 more than I really need to do streaming, so that means I got a good window for bandwidth now. So I should stream more. I just got to fix this monitor. Because even though YouTube will let me use the super wide, the site I'm using, which I believe is beam.pro, will not take my super wide monitor properly. It errors out, it glitches, it does a lot of really weird things. So I got to switch over to one of my just normal widescreen monitors. And I should be able to start streaming. You guys should be able to see me play Minecraft, work on my AE systems, do all the stuff I do normally when I'm not coding, and etc. etc. But yeah, see you later with more videos.